All right, here we are. Little impromptu, unscheduled live stream today. It's been a little while since I streamed, and I've made some changes here to, software changes, right? New version of OBS and some other stuff here on my studio computer. And so I thought I would just do probably not very long of a stream today, but just to make sure that everything still works. And I do have something interesting to work on that I'll show you in just a second here. First, let's jump over real quick and make sure that this is streaming correctly. So yeah, it looks like it's going out okay on Twitch. Let me check YouTube as well while we're at it here, just to make sure that everything looks good. That was the wrong thing to click. Let's try that again. Yeah. So I think we're looking good. Awesome. Okay. And with that, let's get on to the plan for today. So I've been doing, if you couldn't tell from what's on my desk here, I've been doing some masking. So I've got all my tape. We're not going to do any masking today. We're going to take a look at the result of the masking. So I've got these parts for the display base for the Zero Gravity Judge, which actually it's back there on the shelf right under the logo in the middle of that bottom shelf back there. And I've got all the parts for the display base for that, and I've been masking and painting them for I don't know, like over a week now. Partly because I haven't had a lot of time, but also partly because I wanted to make sure that each layer cures really well before I work on the next bit of masking. And the main part of the display base has 5 layers, so 6 layers of paint, 5 layers of masking, and it's right here. So in a minute, I'm gonna take the tape, many layers of tape off of this, and we're either gonna see that it came out looking awesome, or we're gonna see that there were some, gaps in the masking, or some paint peels up when I pull it off, and then I'm gonna probably cry. So yeah, that should be lots of fun, right? But before we get to those, I just want to work real quickly on a few of these other ones that are much easier and simpler to work on here to get the layers off. So it's all metallics, this display base. Weirdly, the base itself was just black plastic, I believe. I've painted over it now, so I don't remember for sure, but all of these parts, the arms and connectors and things like that for this, for the actual, arm on the display base, they were all transparent green, which I think was an odd choice. Maybe that was just the runner that they already had, like from a different kit, or maybe they had it produced, and so, but to choose to mold that in transparent green, I think was kind of strange. So I wanted it to be metallic to match how I painted the inner frame on the mobile suit itself. And so we're using, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick up the differences in these metallics. Yeah, I guess it does. So this one is SMS dark bronze, and then these kind of raised bits here are SMS light bronze. And so there's that two-tone look that's gonna be throughout some of these larger arm parts here. And then the base itself has those two colors along with gunmetal and the gold that we used on the mobile suit for like its V-fin and stuff like that. There's some accents in that, and then there's the I think it was SMS aluminum that was the other color. It comes out as a silvery looking color. So those are all the colors that I used on the base. And like I said, it's in multiple layers, and each layer just added on top. Like I added more masking tape on top. And so I have not seen any of that with the tape off yet, because I had to just build up each layer, and then we'll remove all the tape all at once. And I am a little afraid because that tape has been on there. Some of it's been on there for like more than a week now. And I try not to leave masking tape on parts for that long, just because I'm afraid that it will peel the paint off when I take it off. However, just because of my schedule and not having time to work on the project every day, and wanting to also make sure that the paint cured real well before I worked on the next layer, it's just taken that long. So we'll have to see how it goes. I'm trying really hard. So I use these metal tipped tweezers for most of this masking removal. However, I'm always careful to make sure that I'm not scratching the paint. So I always grab the tape like maybe behind on the back part of a piece that's not going to be visible, or that sort of thing. And then we've got these indented sections here are also masked. So I'm going to use a toothpick here to like sort of push up the corner of this before I grab it, to minimize the chance that I might scratch that. So once again, not sure if the camera is going to pick this up. This being so shiny and with the lights shining down on my work surface here, it's hard to see that this is darker bronze inside of here and it's lighter on the outside. In person it shows up pretty well, so I'm pleased with the color scheme and how it's turning out so far. Yeah, there's actually, let me get a Q-tip here. There's actually a little bit of the sticky adhesive from the masking tape that has come off right there on that part. So see if I can get that off. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Cool. Well, that's unfortunate. I thought all of this would peel off in one strip there. It kind of did on that side. Right, now we get to see some of the other color, because I believe this area here is that silverish aluminum color. Yeah. And then I think also up here in this area we have some of that. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. And then I believe all of these little round areas here should be gold, assuming that the masking took. Yeah, so we got a little gold thing there. All right. And then one more of those, right? Oh, and one more up here. That's the downside of having done this masking so long ago, right? I have to remember where all the different spots are. Hopefully I'll see them all and I won't miss anything. Speaking of missing things, is there there's a little rectangular thing here? Yeah, there is. This is supposed to be silver under here too, I believe. Oh, it's just the darker... Okay, cool. It's the darker bronze under there. I was thinking I was going to unmask these parts today and then assemble them, but now that I look at it, I'm going to need to drop a little bit of panel line fluid in some of these little recesses and edges, just to make sure that it looks right, so, or to kind of complete the look. So we might not do any assembly today. We might just unmask these. Could panel line them too on stream, we'll see. Again, for me, this is mostly just a test stream. On YouTube, I might not even leave the stream around. We'll see at the end here. I just wanted to make sure that the stream would work so that I can start streaming probably a new live build, either starting tomorrow or starting next week. I'll have to pick something out of my backlog and figure out what I want to work on next. But I really wanted to finish this kit first, so that is the #1 priority. Like, I finished the mobile suit itself quite some time ago, but it's not really finished until I finish this display base, and also I need to paint the coat of... What was that color? There was a color we were using on top of the transparent green that, like, for the eyes and stuff. There are effect parts for the weapons. Some of them are quite large, and those are transparent green, and I wanted to paint that same. It's like a pearl, purplish pearl finish that's mostly transparent that I was painting on top of those clear green parts just to give them a little bit of more visual interest. So I need to do that on all the weapon effect parts, and then finally I'll be able to put this guy up on the action base and get some good photos of it, because right now, well, it's sitting back there over my shoulder, standing on the shelf, but it only will stand in that pose. It's so back heavy because its backpack is so large that even just to get it to stand like that was tricky, and so I'm afraid to move it or pose it very much for photos until I have a base that it can stand on to hold it and support its weight. So yeah, we'll get this done. I'll get some photos of it in the next few days, hopefully. And then I'll find something in my backlog to build next. And we'll start back with kind of the recurring build streams on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as has been the case in the past. At least that is the plan. Assuming this test stream works okay. So far, like, just looking at the stats, and I've got the stream running with no audio on my other screen over here, it looks fine. So, looks like the OBS update didn't break anything. Given how these simpler parts have turned out so far, I am encouraged, I think. Like, I'm optimistic about how the big display base part is gonna look. But again, there was a lot of layers of masking, and so you never know what might go wrong. And if something did go wrong, then, like, really the only option is to sand things down and reprime it and start from scratch with that large piece, and I'm not sure that I really want to do that. So hopefully we'll find that everything looks okay. We still had a circle of masking tape. Oh, if you're interested about the circular masking, because I've had somebody ask me about that before, I actually have these little, what brand are they? I guess Tamiya makes them. They're these little aluminum circle templates. I picked them up at my hobby shop quite some time ago, and I don't usually use these two large ones, but this one is great. So they're in quarters of a millimeter diameters, it looks like. So everything from 1 millimeter, then 1.25, then 1.5, 1.75, 2, and so on, and they're all labeled here. And so what I do is I just place these over the circular area that I want to mask, and I figure out which is the correct size, and then over here I put a piece of tape down on my cutting mat, and then I just place that down there and cut around it with a very sharp hobby knife, and yeah, it leaves a nice circular piece of masking tape that you can stick over those circular areas. Seems to work out pretty well. Did I mask these circles? I think I did. It's also hard to tell like which parts are masked versus which ones are not. But yeah, that's masked. I don't think that on any of these parts here I did any masking. Let's just double check to be sure. There are some details on this one, but I chose not to mask those because they're not super visible in the final assembly, I don't think. So, and if they turn out to be, I could always hand paint them. I'd prefer not to though. All right, so those are all of the non-giant parts. Yeah, these came out pretty good. I'm happy with that, for sure. And now there's this. And the only thing that doesn't have masking tape on it are these 4 sort of areas here on the sides. That was the aluminum, and that was the very final layer. So I did this from, sometimes when I mask and paint, I do from like darker shades or lighter shades to darker shades, because you know the darker paint goes better, will cover better over a lighter base coat. However, with this one, because it's multiple layers, like some of these layers down in here where these circle details are down below. So what I did here is I started with the lowest in elevation details, and I worked my way up. So that's why these guys that are like the most tall of the details, they were the last ones to get painted. And I'm pulling this off, like I'm trying to be super careful because like I said, I'm afraid of peeling up some of the paint as well along with this. And we'll see how it goes here. Also going to be real careful with the tweezers to try to always grab an edge that's on top of other tape, so that I don't accidentally scratch the surface. And when I can't do that, I'm going to use the toothpick, because it's a less scary thing to be scratching against the paint surface with. I don't think that I will scratch the paint surface with the toothpick. I think it's strong enough to withstand that. Alright, so we have this little area here I need to be careful with because it's got, if I remember correctly, multiple layers of tape. Like there's more in here, and there's a layer of darker bronze underneath that. Yeah, so the differences between these, the three main shades of paint here are the light bronze, which is this main round area here, the dark bronze, which is just starting to show through in a few spots, and there will be some more of it around, and then the gunmetal, which is this part here. And on camera, I can already tell with the lights shining and reflecting off of things, you can't really see a huge amount of difference between those three shades. I can in person, they look good, but yeah, it's gonna be a little hard for you guys to see. Let's see, I think there's also masking in these little areas here. So the two things you will be able to see quite plainly, I think, are the aluminum, which is like that thing that I just uncovered there. And a lot of these little small recessed details are going to be in that aluminum, which gives a nice silvery shine. And then the gold, which we haven't gotten to yet, and we probably won't for a little while because it's down in some of these circular indented areas down there. Is the only place where that gold shows up. But I really like the subtle color differences between the three darker shades as well. In person, it looks really nice. And I think it'll look even better once, I noticed this with the inner frame of the mobile suit itself. Once I got a gloss coat on it, which I don't normally do, but I painted this particular mobile suit with a nice, super glossy finish. Once I got that gloss coat on these metallics, they look different from one another. The differences are more prominent between the three darker shades, especially once they get that gloss coat. So I think I'm going to do the same thing here with the display base, and I think it will look really good. Can I zoom in? Yeah, I can. Hey man, how's it going? You want it super zoomed in like that? My hands look so big. Yes, I don't know if you tuned in earlier, but like this was one of the other parts that has most of the different colors on it. Yeah. This is a bit nerve-wracking because, as I said earlier, I put some of this masking tape on like more than a week ago at this point because it's been so many layers and time waiting for things to cure, and also just not having time to work on it every day. And so now I am concerned as I pull this off that some of the tape is going to take some of the paint with it, and that would be terrible. So we'll have to see what happens here. Yeah, I'm not sure if leaving tape on longer matters or not. Like, I feel like I had it happen to me once, and so I'm always concerned about it. But you're right, it shouldn't matter, especially with this good, you know, quality masking tape that's specifically meant for this purpose. Should be fine. Hey look, we accidentally revealed some of the gold and silver that's underneath there. Yeah, so all of these are SMS brand metallics, and they all seem to go really well together. You would expect that, I guess. Let's see how this looks. That wasn't a scratch, was it? No, it wasn't. It was just a little flake of tape. Oh yeah, I remember you said you did that. So that, like, this whole project, that has been sort of my fear, is that because I planned to do this one from the beginning with like a super clean, glossy finish, any sort of mistake or imperfection in the paint was going to like not be fixable, right? If you're doing some sort of weathered build or even just something with a flat top coat, you can usually hide mistakes. But for something that you planned from the beginning to be super glossy, like, for me it adds just that extra amount of like stress, because I'm trying to make sure that everything is super perfect. All right, so there's our silver stripe that goes around there. I should do like one quadrant of this so that we can see all the colors, and then I can go around and do the rest of the sides. I think the only other section is this the lowest section here is gold, and actually the tape is tucked around the edges so well, I'm not sure how I'm going to dig into that without potentially scratching something. See if I can get this edge right here. No. See if I can get this edge over here. No. I've done such a good masking job that I cannot remove the masking tape. Perfect. There we go. Yeah, it's the same gold that is elsewhere on the mobile suit. So like on its V-fin and those other places. It's SMS, I believe they called it Inca Gold. It's kind of a slightly reddish gold color. So yeah, there's one quadrant. No, I was wrong. There's other little details. So like this little circular thing should be gold. Once I get the masking off, yeah, there we go. And then I think there are some other, like these rectangular cutouts have the aluminum in there. Yeah. What else? This one up here. Yeah, so I think that's everything over there. The other thing I might do, and I'm waiting until I see how the whole thing turned out here, once I get all the tape off, is I had saved some of the water slides from, there was some markings that were supposed to go on the backpack of the mobile suit, and because the backpack was originally dark bluish, there's a lot of these, like this says Judge here, you probably can't see it because it's white, but it was, and then there's some striping detail as well over here, and all of that I didn't use on the mobile suit when I put the decals on because I had recolored it to a lighter color, and so all of those white markings didn't work. So I may put, like there's a good chance I think that I'll put that Judge designation sticker right here, or decal right there, and maybe some of the other white striping somewhere on this display base, or maybe not, depending on how I think it will look. But I have the opportunity to do that because this is a much darker color than it was originally. All right, now the challenge of getting into this recessed area again. Hey Chris, have a good day. Thanks for stopping in. Lunchtime is over, I guess. Meanwhile, I'm here having breakfast, which for me is just a iced chai tea. It's a really good chai tea. We'll go out one level here on the zoom. Yeah, so looking closely at this, all of the edges are coming out nice and clean. So I'm pleased with that. If you've watched me build before, you probably know about my love of toothpicks for many different purposes, but one of those is that when I'm masking, I always make sure to use a toothpick to press edges down really tightly, and that's, I believe, the best way to get nice clean edges. My phone's over here going crazy with notifications, but it looks like it's nothing important, so I will ignore it for now. was about to say, on all of the other sections I've done so far, this rounded silver piece that was covering the silver part came off so easily. That one was a little trickier, but once it started peeling up, it worked fine. And then we'll get this bit here over the gold. Let's see, let's go from this edge here, and I should be able to get most of this off in like one large section, I think. Aha, that worked great. I lied, not one large section. Yeah, so the good news is that the OBS upgrade seems to be working just fine. Both destinations, Twitch and YouTube, seem to be working just fine with this version, so that's good. And like I said earlier, I'll just have to figure out what to build next. I have an idea of what I want to build next on stream, so maybe at the end here I'll get the box from the shelf behind me and show you guys what the plan is going to be. It's something that I picked up from my favorite local hobby shop last week. I think it was last week. And it's another non-Bandai third-party kit. This Judge was that way too. Maybe I'm just going to become the guy who builds third-party kits. They've been getting a lot better in quality the last few that I've built for sure, so it's not a bad thing to do, I guess, to build those types of things. All right, what have I missed? This little circle here. And then I guess we'll go this way and try to get this rounded area all uncovered. Hey, that worked out well. It pulled this up, so I'll be able to just hopefully pull straight down and get all of that. Yeah, oh no. So there seems to have been a small gap. Maybe I can rub it off. Yeah, there was a small gap in the masking tape right here. So it's left just the tiniest bit of the dark metallic on top of this aluminum. I may be able to carefully remove that. I'll play with it later and see. If not, I can probably touch it up. I wouldn't mind it too much. Oh no, I was gonna say it's on the front of the base, but it's not, because this is the post where the arm goes in, so this is actually the front. So with that being on the back, I'll probably just leave it. No one will notice. You guys won't tell anybody, right? All right, so a couple final little details. These two right here and this one right here. And maybe that's all. Just give it a quick double check to make sure I don't see any other tape anywhere. Yeah, I think we're good. I think that's everything. Yep, seems fine. Cool. So yeah, that's gonna go there, and then what? This goes in here. I'm not gonna put it together because, like I said, I was thinking about assembling it right away. However, there is some small amount of panel lining needed on some of these parts, and so I'm mostly on these arms, these two parts here. So I'll do those for sure before assembly. There's not really a lot to do on here. Maybe I'll drop a little bit of panel line fluid around these circular details right there, and in these little lines right there, which I actually scribed. So there was no, this circular detail came around here and then just kind of ended here. There was no obvious delineation for how that should end. And since I knew I wanted to paint it in a different color, I added that line, that little diagonal panel line right there. I think that's the only scribing I did on this entire kit, were those 4 lines on the base to break that out so that it would be a more obvious you know, way to do the circular detail that I wanted to paint like that. Cool. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do this Judge decal kind of here. We'll have to see, because it actually has a little extended bit that comes out like that, and so it's gonna have to be more off-center than I'd like, unless I cut the decal and remove that part, which, yeah, I suppose I could actually. And I might, because I don't see, there's a corresponding opposite side piece here, but I don't see a place where I'd want to put that. Unless I put them side and side like that. I guess that would work as well. But I like this here. So yeah, I'll have to play with it and see. Once I get those off of the, cut off of the sheet there, I'll play with it a bit and see how they fit. But the panel line is gonna have to come first. Yeah, so let's see. Do I want to do anything else in this little short test stream? I don't think so. You didn't get to see me cry because it actually turned out really good. So yeah, the alternative was that it turned out bad and then I would cry. Yeah, let me grab real quick the box for what I might build next. Yeah, so this thing, which is going to be way too big to show here in this camera view, right? So we'll switch over to here and I'll show it to you here. So this is the Genesis. It was designed by the Infinite Dimension guys, I believe. I'm actually quite sure. And it's a transforming mobile suit. So it transforms into like this over here, this aircraft mode. Yeah, I haven't even opened the box yet, but it's supposed to be super detailed. and you know, in the normal like infinite dimension sort of style that I enjoy, probably similar actually in detail and scope of build to the Zero Gravity Judge. So that is the plan. I don't know if we'll start it tomorrow in the normal stream time slot in the morning, or if I'll wait until Monday next week. Oh, you know what? Monday. So next week is spring break for schools here where I live. And so my son will be off all of next week from school. And I'm trying to think if that impacts my schedule at all. It might. Yeah, so streaming schedule might be a little strange next week. I'll probably hold off on starting that. I'm not start it tomorrow. And then I'll have to take a look at my schedule for next week and figure out when I can stream. But I think, want to build that next here on stream. So that'll be the next project. But for today, I have this display base and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, next steps here are going to be panel lining a few little details to bring those out, and then I'll work on the idea for that, at least that one decal. See if I can find a good spot here on the base for it, and then assemble these things and top coat. I'll probably assemble like the individual arms and the base without putting them all together yet, and then I'll top coat them in those sub-assemblies and then put the whole thing together. Then I can get that guy up on the base and do some photography with him in different poses besides just standing there with his two giant weapons like he is now. It's actually a really good pose, and I might put him back in that pose when I'm done with other, with photographing other poses. We'll see. I'd kind of like him up in the air though, holding one of his weapons, maybe with the giant effect part attached to it as well. So yeah, I'll have to see how he looks in all of the different configurations as I do my photography before I decide which final pose to leave him in. So anyway, yeah, that's it for today. So quick, like 1 hour stream. It's good to be back streaming. I was so busy. I've got other projects I've been working on, so maybe I'll make videos to show you guys some things later on. I've been playing a lot with Gridfinity, which is this modular storage system, and I've designed all of these custom things to hold my tools. So I've got this one that holds nippers and a pair of tweezers and a hobby knife or pencil or paintbrush or whatever you want. I've got other ones to hold my scribing chisels and bottles of paint and all kinds of stuff. They're not all completely done yet. I have to still 3D print a few other pieces to get the whole system all put together, but I've got an idea for a better way to do storage and organization of all my stuff here on my desk. So yeah, when that's all finished, I'll probably make a quick YouTube video to show you guys how that worked out as well. Yeah, still Blender Gunpla is going. A new episode came out last week. Yeah, last week. So if you haven't checked that out, you can check that out on the YouTube channel as well. And that finished up the series where we were designing this part here, which was a custom add-on that fits on top of a high-grade Zaku shield. That adds some interest and some detail. I still haven't painted this. I was gonna actually glue this on here and prime it and paint it. Well, this piece is primed, but the shield is not. Prime it all up and then paint it in a couple different colors to see how it looks all painted. Haven't done that yet, but I probably will. More Blender Gunpla coming probably next week. But I just talked about that whole spring break thing, so maybe not next week, maybe the week after. My schedule's gonna be a little strange for the next couple of weeks. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today. I hope you guys have a good day. I'm super excited with how this turned out. I was silently and slightly dreading taking the masking tape off and seeing something terrible, but it looks like the only mistake is that little one back there, and it's on the back side that won't really be super visible anyway. So success. I think I'm going to call that success. Yeah, and I'm happy with how this turned out. I will see you guys later. I hope you have a good day. And thanks for watching.